Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Savvy Business Show. I'm your host, Hanneke, business coach and the creator of the Savvy Business Masterminds, where we help women to build thriving businesses with community, support, and savvy business strategies plus coaching. And with me today, I'm super excited to have Erin Condren from Erin Condren Interiors. And just a quick little backstory. Erin is actually the reason why the Savvy Business Masterminds exist today. So welcome, Erin. It's so wonderful to have you here.
It's really nice to be here. I'm so excited.
Yeah. So Erin, just tell us a little bit about your background, and you've got such an interesting history before you started Erin Condren Interiors, and I would really just love for our listeners to hear all about it.
Sure. So I'm Erin, and I started my business, Erin Condren Interior, 4 years ago. And I started it I don't want to say I was forced to do it, but I had been a professional organizer before, and doing interiors was just something that I sort of dabbled in and kind of came naturally. And then as things kind of went on and sort of progressed in my business as an organizer, I started to really contemplate doing interiors. And so with a lot of prodding and like a really huge push, I opened up my own business and just kind of left organizing kind of dropped down to sort of 25% of my business, and interiors elevated to about 75% of my business. And then shortly after meeting you and doing your mastermind business, my sort of goal for that year was to be sort of 90% interiors and 10% organizing. And with your help and with being in that mastermind business program, I really was able to achieve that, which was awesome.
Yay! Yes. Yeah, so funny, because I remember when we met, you were in that transition phase, and now this is a question we didn't discuss beforehand, guys. So I'm throwing this stone cold at her. But what was that transition like? Because I've now transitioned businesses. So when Erin met me, I know Erin from my Pilates instruction days. Yes. And when Erin met me, I had just gotten certified as a coach, and we're also now talking 3 or 4 years. No, actually 2013. Yeah. So anyway, long time ago, nobody's counting. But when I was meeting you, we were sort of in the same transition phase, and I would love to just sort of talk about what that transition is like, because I see a lot of women who either want to just start their own business, or people like us who had other businesses before and then changed it and flipped it. So what was that transition like for you, and how did you make it happen for yourself?
Super uncomfortable, really uncomfortable to make those beginning steps towards that change of saying for doing organizing, I was doing it also pretty part-time. It was kind of laxed, and I could make my own hours, and there were some really great parts to that, and then some parts that were kind of at the end of the month when you look and you're okay, didn't really make that much this month. And then transitioning into doing interiors, it was undeniably scary and really uncomfortable. And as I sort of started to take on my first 2 or 3 clients, I remember going through all those firsts and thinking can I really do this? Am I really cut out for this? Is this really what I should be doing? And I just kept doing it and kept checking in with that kind of inner voice that's yeah, you got this, you can do this. Yeah. And I will say the incredible community around in the interior design world has been amazing. Boston is almost no other that I know. And I've worked in other design communities around the country, really in the Northeast and both down South. And the people who are willing to help you, it's just incredible.
Phenomenal.
It's just really people wanting to see good things happen. So that made that transition a lot easier. And I think like my family, my friends, the resources like yourself of someone who was kind of going through that same thing, and that sort of sharing that process with you makes it a lot less isolating and a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, right. And that's so important there. Like, I think when we start, we think that nobody is really there to help us. And there are so many people out there that will help you. Yeah, there are people who are maybe not the most helpful people in the
Yeah.
world, but they are not your people. They don't have to be your people. And so I always encourage people to go and get, that tribe of
Yeah.
women, or it doesn't have to be women, like family, friends that really
Yeah.
have your back.
Like they always say, look for the helpers, and like they really are all around. If you look, they are, and so willing to help. And I certainly feel like, even through knowing you and through being in that mastermind business program, it was such an incredible resource for me, and sort of made that transition so much more smooth and a little less scary.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so just like, even myself. So I'm in a mastermind myself. I have a business coach myself. So, I'm a coach, right? So you definitely, that having that support just, oh yeah, it just makes it so much easier. And also something that you just touched on, is this imposter syndrome. Like, oh my word, who am I to do this? And oh my word, can I even do this? And of course you can. Oh my God, you totally can. But so many of us are so in our heads about that. So what was it like for you to get through that? Like, I'm going to dip my toe into interiors. I don't really have my background in that or experience in that, but I'm going to do it.
I think it just kind of, it was just a jump. It was a huge leap. And like, whether you're jumping out of the plane and you can see the ground and you're like 5,000 feet up or 10,000 feet up, or it's still a jump. You still have to jump. And I would say, like, the best advice I got was from people who were really close and around me, who just said, like, go for it and do it. And it was one of the best decisions that I made. And like, somebody who just said, like, you just got to do it. And I did. And it was awesome. Like, really, really incredible.
Yeah, so there you have it, right? Like, anything, and I think this is like, just get over yourself. And I always like to ask the question of like, what is the worst thing that's going to happen?
Yeah, totally.
Right? And the worst
so
thing,
I think of like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? And I also think of when I was in grad school. I'm a social worker kind of by trade. I got my master's in social work, which is super helpful in this field. And I remember one of my grad school professors saying, when you're coming down to one of these like decisions and you're thinking about something, think about like in 5 years. So in 5 years, is it gonna matter that you didn't take the leap? Yeah, it probably will. But in 5 years, is it gonna matter that I don't know, that you forgot to pick up, someone when you told them that you were going to pick them up or something? No, those littler things don't matter. And I remember thinking to myself, like, in 5 years, am I going to kick myself if I don't do this? And the answer, definitely yes. Like, just do it.
Yeah,
Go.
absolutely. And so, and that's another good question to ask yourself, even that regret question, right? Like, am I going to regret not doing this in 5 years? And I think also what people miss is when we start new businesses, the longer you diddly-dally about it, that 5-year mark just keeps moving out where you could be in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Where if you take that leap now, in 2 months' time and a year's time, you're going to be a year in.
Yeah.
And oh my God, are you going to learn a lot? You're going to learn so much.
You learn so much about yourself. And even if it doesn't work, it's not that the whole thing didn't work. It's just that one part of it didn't work, right? And so then you can like reshift. And I think it's so easy to get down and be like, well, my numbers aren't where I thought it would be, or the goal that I had set out for myself really isn't. Like, we talked a lot about in our mastermind program, just making those goals like measurable and attainable in a really real way, not just like, I want to make 6 figures in my first month. That's like not, if you want to, sure, like absolutely make that your goal, but maybe be like a little bit more realistic about it.
Yes.
And and really, if it doesn't work, it's just one part of it that didn't work. It doesn't mean that the whole thing was for naught. It's just
Exactly.
one part of it. And
Yeah.
the other thing I would say that like I got really, really good advice on from somebody was when I started, they said, say yes to everything. So say yes to every project that comes across your desk, and say yes in the initial. And then as you get in and as you start to like research and see, it may not be something that you want to tackle. And so then it's okay to say no, but don't say no straight away. Don't come from a place of like, no, I don't want that job, or no, I don't think I can do that because I doubt who I am. It's just saying yes to all of it.
And now I have to like jump in because this is actually exactly where Erin picked me up from as I was transitioning and sort of settling on what my niche was going to be in my coaching world. She was like, well, I need a mastermind. You should run a mastermind for me. And if I had gone from like, oh my word, who am I to run a mastermind? It wouldn't have worked. And as a result of me taking Erin's advice, I learned that I actually freaking love bringing people together in a community and running these masterminds. So that is what it's tasting and trying. And you're not going to think yourself into your perfect niche or into your perfect situation in your job, in your business, because you have to do and try and fail and get up and try again. And that's how you kind of come up with just an amazing business model that feeds your soul.
Yeah, really. It absolutely does. It absolutely does.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing that. I'm so good. So, what is I kind of want to bring it sort of back a little bit more now to more business strategies and advice. So what is so Erin, guys, if you don't know, Erin juggles a lot of projects at a time. Like how many did you tell me last year you were juggling at one point?
I had 14.
14. Yeah. So imagine that you have 14 interior design clients. I'm getting a heart attack just thinking about it. And everybody's like bathroom and carpet and like everything needs to be delivered, etc., and installed. So how do you manage to juggle multiple projects and clients all at once?
Yeah. So it's a craft that I feel like I've yet to fully master. But you just really do have to stay really well organized, and you have to really like have all your ducks in a row and there's so much even paperwork that you need to do, that you need to like be, proposals and bills and reimbursements and luckily like, there's some really great software out there that's, perfect for that. But, client meetings, strategizing your vendors, going to do site visits, even like checking in on projects that your upholsterer's doing, like you've got to get out there and do that. So it takes an immense amount.
Ooh. There we go. We lost you for 2 seconds. No worries.
It takes an immense amount of organization and of focus, and to be really, really just when I am with that person, I'm with that person. And when I'm present, yes, and staying really focused. And there's times when I fall short. I mean, there definitely are times when I was like, wait a second, what am I doing? Where am I? But you just have to kind of regroup and just jump back in and drop back in on that moment, and then, kind of keep going. So it takes a lot of organization.
Yeah. And I have to say, that's definitely something that I realized, because I used to sort of just, fly by the seat of my pants. Is that the expression? Right. That's the expression.
You got it.
Monocanisms. They don't always come out right. So that one I got. So
you're on.
In my Pilates business, I just kind of would go for things as they happened and wasn't the most organized person. And I have to say that is somewhere where I shot myself in the foot for sure. I feel like now being in my coaching business, where I have, again, a lot of clients that I have to manage and make sure I remember what we talked about last time, because that's what they're coming to me for, is to be heard and then to get coaching. One thing that is so super important that I hope every single business owner takes away from this call is get yourself more organized. You're gonna take a lot of stress away from yourself by doing that.
Sure.
And B, you're gonna realize what your zones are that you're really good at too. I find like that's something that I realized as well, and then you can outsource things easier. The more organized you are, the easier it is to give other people the burden of whatever you can't handle right now, and what's not a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That was also for me a super beneficial takeaway from what I learned in the mastermind was I think at that point I was having a super hard time balancing and feeling like I was giving enough time to kind of everything. And I do remember kind of taking that away to be organized, to outsource what you can, and to just stay focused.
Yes,
on what you've got.
It's so important, so important. Okay, now, so one of the final questions that I'll ask you, unless, we'll see how you answer it, because I've just been enjoying this so much, something else might come to mind. But the final question that I want to ask you is, how do you service your clients in a way that keeps them satisfied and referring our other clients to you? Because juggling that many clients that all want so much of your time, I'm assuming, and not dropping the ball anywhere. Like, how do you manage to keep them all satisfied and then to have super good referrers?
Yeah. So I'm not like, I am sure there are some who have been dissatisfied, and that's just like, that happens in your business, and you just try to address it and you kind of move forward. But for the most part, I really work really hard at servicing my clients in a way that when I say something will be there, something will be there. I'm pretty realistic on my time frame, barring anything. I don't like to say, yes, it will definitely be there on Wednesday. It's Wednesday and it's not there. So I really try to be super realistic with them when something goes wrong, or when something's not gonna be produced in a timely manner, or a fabric came in, it's in the wrong, it's like in the wrong shade, or in the wrong, it just doesn't look right. I'm really honest with them about that. So I try to kind of go with that sort of strategy. And I'm also just really honest with them. And I really try to listen to what their needs are, to, say to them, this is what I think would be like a great selection for you. But if you feel differently, then, let's talk about that, and kind of come up with a way that gives them what they want, something that they're super comfortable with, and that I feel really good about. So there's that. And I think that just being honest and timely has led to some really, great referrals for me. And that has been something that has been exceptional, and something I am really, really fortunate and really, really grateful to my clients for.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Eventually that hard work kind of pays off in that way.
And I think it's so important what you just said there, because no service, period, no business can run without trust. Right. And so the more you can do to get to trust your clients, to trust you. And again, things are going to go wrong. Things do go wrong. Like it just happens. It's, it's nobody's fault. Sometimes it's just the nature of the beast of running of a business. You drop a ball somewhere, it happens. But I love what you just said there, is like, A, be honest with them. B, manage their expectations. Like really managing their expectations. And then C, what I also find is like, the more open the line of communication is with a client, the better.
Yeah.
Like just, it's a difficult conversation sometimes to have, or something that you want to say and you're scared of how the person's going to react, but it's so much better for you to just get it out in the open. And it just helps you so much. Now, so I know like some clients are just amazing, and you've definitely built such a good word of mouth referral business for yourself. have you ever reached out and asked for referrals? And if you have, like, how do you go about doing that?
I've never solicited. I haven't. I haven't really. I also this year I decided to go back to school to get my certification as a kitchen and bath designer. So that's taken up like a large portion of my time right now, especially towards the end. I'm in finals.
Good luck, Erin. And if you need your bathroom and your kitchen done,
hey,
you know who to call.
Another feather in our cap, something that we're offering. But I haven't reached out to do any sort of solicitation. Clients certainly have referred me to other people without me asking, but I guess I haven't crossed that yet. I haven't.
So I love that you just said that, because yes, it's important to do marketing, and I know like you've had some really good articles in-house and somewhere else, I feel like. But what I want everyone to pick up on here is that Erin is running a business and she's not producing content every week or emailing a huge list of people. Correct me if I'm wrong, Erin.
No, absolutely.
And you're literally just running a word of mouth and referral based business. And so it is possible for you to do that.
Sure.
If you do a really good job and if you're honest with your clients.
Right.
People want to refer you.
Absolutely. And I think projection wise, like if I was to project, which I kind of have been doing, and like forecasting like what my business will kind of entail going forward, I know that, doing more of the social media, the marketing, that sort of stuff could only help me.
Yes.
And really, like, I think that is something that I would like to kind of work on. And
that's the next step.
Yeah.
But, and I love this. Like, so often we're like, oh my God, I got to have a blog and I got to have this and I got to do that. You don't need all of that to start your business. Here, Erin is like 4 years, almost 5 years into her business, and she's now that's her next strategy. So you can really start with wherever and build from wherever and work with what works in your business for you at the right time.
Absolutely. But the first thing you got to do is just jump and do it, and don't be afraid.
Exactly.
And being on the other side of it is so much easier to say that. But absolutely, just do it. Jump.
Just jump. Oh my word. Well, this was so wonderful. Erin, thank you so much. If you're watching and you want to know more about Erin, we're going to link all of her details for you at the bottom. If you have any questions for us, please do ask.
Absolutely.
Well, we will love to just answer for you. And remember that the enrollment to the Savvy Business Mastermind is now open. So if you want to, you can follow the link below as well. But Erin, thank you so much. This was so wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks, Hanukkah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.